Back again, take two. Right, well, I have with me today the great honour of being able to spend a little bit of time to get to know Dean Harris so that you out there on the Kapiti Coast can also get to know him. So, Dean is, well, tell everyone there, Dean, what it is that you were doing here in the Kapiti Coast.
Nice to meet you, Marissa, and thank you very much for inviting me to meet all your viewers. So hi everyone, my name's Dean. I'm running for Mayor in this year's local body election, and Marissa has given me the opportunity to explain a little bit about who I am and what I'm hoping to represent for the community as Mayor should I be elected. Where do we start? Well, in 2019, we built a family home here in Waikanae, and that's still owned by the family. And that gave me a little bit of an insight into some of the beautiful things here on the coast, and I met some wonderful people. One of them was Joanne, who's also on our We Love Kapiti team. I'd been helping with some of the issues that the community was facing with council and what they were looking to do as far as coastal adaptation and things like that were going on in the local community. So I got involved and helped in some aspects, and I learned a lot about how the council isn't engaging with the community. And what I mean by that is there were some meetings that were held around the coast, starting up in Otaki, working their way through down until Paraparaumu, and the meetings were, well, relatively small groups that were attending until the meeting came to Paraparaumu, and a lot more people came into the meeting and learnt some things that were going on with the coastal adaptation and what that meant for the local community here, particularly for those living on the coast. There was a large meeting held at Raumati where over 200 people turned up to that meeting, and the council sort of said that they were so pleased with the engagement and their advertising was working and this sort of thing. And then the next meeting that they had, they limited it to 60 people. You had to register online, and if you weren't registered you couldn't enter the building to hear what was going on, and they wanted to know what groups or organisations you belonged to as well. And I found that extremely undemocratic. And very uninformative. So that led us into learning quite a bit really about how council functions. And so I've seen some things that have been going on in the district that I'm not particularly happy with, considering my partner and I were actually hoping to live here as well. And so we want to see a lot more common sense approach into council. As a result of that, we also met some wonderful people that have been doing, gaining a lot of information about how council operates here, and we see the excessive spending. So one of the things I've also been involved in over the last few years has been an organisation called Concerned Ratepayers Wellington Region. And I started that because I got an idea on where councils were heading with rate increases. And from all accounts, listening to what was happening in Wellington and other regions, including the Kapiti, is that rates are going to go to a point where most homeowners are going to find it extremely unaffordable. You've got Wellington City, forecast rate increases of 246%. You've got the Kapiti Coast here with forecasted rate increases from the long-term plan that have been set in by the council of rate increases of 7% compounded over their long-term plan, means that we're looking at down the barrel of 115% rate increases. That means whatever you're paying now is going to be doubled. And I'm extremely fearful about the affordability, particularly for those people that are on fixed incomes. How are they going to afford to pay double what they're paying now? But not only that, you're going to have a, I'm not an economist, but when I look at rates doubling, currently in the Kapiti Coast, it's in the vicinity of about $90 million a year in rate intake. Well, if that doubles, that's another $90 million out of the local economy. that's going to go into the council coffers, not into the local businesses, the coffee shops, the cafes, the clothing businesses, the gift shops and that sort of thing. And I think that's these rate increases are going to have a huge detrimental effect to the community and the people that live here.
So why do you think there is this hike in rates?
Lack of fiscal responsibility, really.
Right.
The councils just aren't managing the money well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that ideally needs to change. I look at, and recently, where, and this is no disrespect to the CE, but he's just gone on a jaunt overseas to the US, and 3-4 council members signed off on a $43,000 overseas trip for a week to 10 days, where the CE also had a holiday in that time. Now, I'm pretty sure that most government departments don't allow that type of thing to happen. You are, if you go somewhere, you're sent there and you come straight back. You don't have that free time, particularly on the taxpayer dollar. And I feel that that, amongst other spending, has caused our rate increases. When you look at staffing costs have gone up quite substantially. You've got the grants have risen quite substantially, where it's gone from 800,000 in grants to somewhere around about 2.1 million that they're giving away of our ratepayer money. And I think there needs to be a magnifying glass put into where the money's going. You know, grants can help festivals and different things like that may promote the district, but there needs to be some of the grants that we feel perhaps need to go under the microscope and maybe reined back a little bit. It's the ratepayer money, and the ratepayer needs to, you know, approve this type of thing or have an understanding of where the money's going. So we find that's quite important. Another thing that we've looked at is the Economic Development Fund, which you need to have a thriving business. And as I say, there's going to be somewhere around $90 million over the next 10 years taken out of the local economy. So when you've got something like the Economic Development Fund, there needs to be some accountability in that. I think it's somewhere around about $3 million that's been spent at the moment. When you look at that, that's about $56,000 a week that is going somewhere. And again, there needs to be some more accountability. So that's having an impact on rates, is grants. Staffing at the council has gone up quite substantially, as well as one of the other things that has also had an impact is depreciation. So depreciation on assets. So again, we've looked at the assets the council have, and there is a depreciation fund that they're taking in as part of the rate intake. But one thing that's very unclear is that being held into a cash account to replace the assets when they hit their expiry date? That's something that, again, through Legoimas and information that we've done on council, is a little bit unclear. They haven't been forthcoming with that information. And that's another issue with council, is we're finding it can be a little bit difficult getting information from council. They're not too forthcoming in some areas.
So what will you be able to promise the Kapiti coasters here when you are elected in as the new mayor? What type of accountabilities processes will you have in place? Right.
Well, one of the things that I would like to see is we have a candidate going for almost every ward in the district. So something that's quite unique for New Zealand is to have a team of independent candidates going for council, one in each ward. There's 6 of us in total. So we're hoping that we're able to have 6 candidates come into council. And we're all in agreement on the pillars that we have set, which is lower rates, democracy, not bureaucracy, and more transparent, common sense approach to council and council spending. So being fiscally responsible. For myself, I come from a business background. I operated an import company for nearly 12 years from scratch, and going overseas to Asia and China on buying trips to the Canton Fair and various other suppliers in Ningbo and Shanghai and places like that, and set up a sales team. I'm also a qualified builder, so I come from a building background. I have a building business that I also have as a part-time entity. So I have a good understanding of commerce and being fiscally responsible, having run my own business. You can't just keep spending money and just put an invoice magically into the air and get money coming in. There's got to be some accountability. And one of the things, like with the Economic Development Fund, it's in principle, it's a good concept, but is it actually giving us a return? And that's something that I would like to look at. We've got some great ideas as a vision for the Kapiti Coast. The Kapiti Coast is a fantastic place. It's a wonderful place to live, has a fantastic climate, the aesthetics and everything with the island, and I'm a hunter, diver, fisherman as well. And I've spent a bit of time diving around the island and fishing and what have you. And there's some great assets here, but are they being promoted? Is it being actively drawing people to the community to spend money within the district? I had a conversation one time in my travels around repping with my import company, and I didn't realise at the time that he was actually the mayor of Gisborne, but I went out to dinner with Ming and Yang Thun, and I said this is in the early 2000s, and I said to Ming, what has Gisborne got to offer? It's out on a limb, you've got to go there, but there's nothing really here to attract people into the district. It's a bit like New Plymouth. You know, what do they have? If you go to Central North Island, you've got Taupo, Rotorua, and on you go up the island. But to go to Gisborne and New Plymouth, you have to go there, and quite often they're a return trip. You very rarely do you pass through, unless you're doing a trip around the East Coast or the West Coast. It wasn't too long after that they started Rhythm for Vines. And so therefore it created a destination. And I think that's something that we can look at here. I've got some wonderful ideas. There's new owners for the airport. I'm hoping to have some discussions with those people. I think the airport here is a fantastic asset. It's the only one between Wellington and Palmerston North. And we can build on that. I'm sure we can build a vibrant area. You've got a fantastic waterfront and that little hub on the beach with the cafes and shops and things like that. Wouldn't it be great to see a little bit more vibrancy there? Yes. But on the other hand, some of the uniqueness I think needs to be retained. So there's a lot of discussion at the moment going on with Waikanae and the housing developments that are going on there. We have the house in Waikanae ourselves. I'm also a builder, but I understand trying to keep a uniqueness and an identity in a region or an area is something that's quite important. It's a bit like if you buy a house next to a speedway, you know there's going to be a lot of noise and a lot of activity and all that sort of thing. So Saturday night, Friday night, you may not go to bed too early and have a comfortable, quiet night's sleep. However, if you're in an area and they decide to build a speedway there, then you're going to sort of have a right to object. And so there are some areas that I think are really great areas to develop further, and some areas that perhaps we can keep that uniqueness. But that's a town planning issue, and that's something that I would like to talk to the planners about, and how we can fix some of this discord that's sort of developing within the community. Which is again another area that I think I can bring to the table with our team, hopefully, if everyone's voted in, is a unity within council and a vision, and someone that can talk with the CE and the heads of departments as to how we can develop the Kapiti Coast that is conducive and appropriate for everybody that's living here. You've got your quiet, comfortable, relaxed spaces, you've got a bit of vibrancy. If you're going to have a lot of money taken out of the community through rates and what have you, you need to be able to inject that into another way, because you can't have that sort of thing happening and businesses failing on the other end. Yeah, so I think it's really, really important.
Well, how refreshing to have some financial intelligence, because this is, and some common sense, which we do know is not that common these days. So I'm loving hearing the enthusiasm, but the word that you used, which I heard Joanne mention again the other day, was that unity and the team aspect. And I think there is probably quite a lot of ignorance just from the people that I talk to just around voting. And one of the things that I hear so often with the voters in Wellington and the voters on the coast, because yes, I have a lot of friends around the greater Wellington area, is who do we vote for? How do we vote? Because we only have just this little weenie blurb and everybody sounds the same. You know, family man, love my dog, sort of walks on the beach, and it's like, well, so really, the conversations around our table go something a little bit like this. There should really be some sort of criteria before you're even allowed to be voted as mayor. Do you have financial intelligence? Are you responsible with your own money and with your own, are you successful in your own right as making great business? Because let's face it, it's a business, isn't it?
It is.
It really is a business, and to be a mayor, be a councillor, you are responsible for other people's money.
Absolutely, and it's it also comes down to the function and that's that common sense approach. One of the things that I never take things verbatim straight off the bat. I will listen, and there's, you know, when people are putting a case forward, they're going to put their best foot forward. But there will always be someone who will have an objective or alternative point of view to a case or a decision. So from, you know, my point of view is to look at both sides of the story, and in between you can come up with some rational decision making. The finances are a very important thing. The most important thing that people need to remember is it's not our money. The money that we're in guardianship of is the community's money, it's the ratepayers' money. And that's why we are very strong on having community consultation with any of the major ideas that either come across the table that we all agree on. We will put it out to consultation with the community, because it's up to the community, you guys, whether you want something in place. We work. Our idea is that we're working for the community. We're not working for the bureaucracy. There is a bureaucratic content within council, and that's a culture that's developed over time. Well, we want to kind of turn that around a little bit and have it more as a community, a community decision focus, not just the bureaucracy saying we need to do this. So we're all about consultation. We're all about meeting the community, having meeting sessions and what have you. So we feel that's really important, and particularly when it comes to the money. And we won't be just giving money away. You can be assured of that. We will be working whatever we can do for the betterment of the community and for the ratepayer. That's vitally important. Yeah.
I think so too. And another question, because this is something that also comes up often in the community and just with having these conversations, is, okay, we voted this guy in, and now we never see him, we never hear from him, we wouldn't even know who he was or who she was in this incident or others in times past. So what can you say to the people about how will they be hearing from you? Will they be hearing from you? Especially because I think that is a very important part of getting to know
the decision makers and what have you.
Yeah, just so to build that trust and that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the team, we've all talked about this, and one of the things we'd like to do is have drop-in sessions on a regular basis. I think that's really important. I'd like to engage with the business community. There's people that are involved with the economic development organisation and what have you. I really want to engage with the community, the business community, as some of the things that we can create the vibrancy and to bring Kapiti as a destination. But certainly, you know, from what I gather, the officials can sort of throw in a 2,000-page document and say to the councillors, here are some just voting points. You need to read our documents, and then next week in 10 days' time you're going to vote on it. Well, we're kind of going to have a little bit of a different approach, because when we get a whole lot of documents like that, we'll assess them, and if there's anything that we feel that is going to be of importance to the community, then we're going to have community consultation before we vote on it to find out what the community feel about it. And I think that's important. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. In the age of internet, a lot of emails can be sent out. It's not like it has to be tens of thousands of dollars on each consultation. A simple email, and the door's open. We're going to be available after working hours from such and such time to such time, and even on weekends. So that's part of our consultation process that we really want to see implemented into council as well. So everybody knows who we are and what we're doing to for the community. It's important.
I think that is very important too. So I'm very passionate about getting people up and running and getting them before the camera so that people get to know who you are. So here we go. I'll throw that challenge out for you. So get busy, Joanne, team, Dean, at getting your social media profiles out there, because boy oh boy, we just love to get to know you and hear what you've got to say so we can connect. So anyway, anything else that you would like? I'm sure there is so much. I've so enjoyed hearing your heart, and I'm actually super encouraged and very excited about what I've been hearing, because like I said, that financial intelligence to me is so very, very key, because in this time when we are hearing of like great huge debts with Wellington Council, and my husband was telling me that it will actually Kapiti Coast is I think he said worse per capita. So I am looking for the right people, for the right team to bring these debts down. So how confident are you?
Well, we've actually devised a long-term plan. So this is not something that we've decided lightly to do. We've actually been working on the figures from council for almost 18 months now, where we've got figures back from council through Laguima's official information requests. We've had team studying the long-term plan. We are extremely confident that we can bring any future rate increases down to a minimum of 3% per annum increase. We're not promising zero, but we can bring the rates down to a 3% capping increase per annum over the long-term plan, not 7%. The 7% that people are looking down the barrel of is untenable for a lot of people, and that's why I'm standing for local government, is because I am extremely fearful, particularly for those, as I say, on fixed incomes and the elderly who are looking to survive on retirement income. You've got, and I just posted an article about it on our Concerned Ratepayers Wellington Region Facebook page this morning, and it's an article saying exactly that the rates are having a huge effect on discretionary spend and stress that people are under, having to pay rates. You've got power, You've got insurance costs that are just going up and up and up. And I've done the costings on what someone's going to be looking at versus their income, and I'm really concerned. So we need to get the council to be fiscally responsible, to rein in their spending, to be accountable for the ratepayer funds that they receive, and to, at the same time keep the momentum going, which we believe we can do that. We won't be cutting any of the services, and the swimming pools will stay open and everything will run as it's intended to, but it's just all that extra spending that the council are doing at the moment, the wasteful spending. There's a lot of that sort of stuff that's got to go. There is going to be no self-entitlement within our team. We're aware of that, and we know that we can do the district a service.
I love that, and I love the word you used earlier. We are guardians. We are guardians of the finances. So, friends, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Dean, for coming along and speaking. I have personally learned a lot, and for all of you out there that love what you hear, please share and like and comment on these broadcasts, because unless we get the message out and connect these candidates that are really putting their lives out there to make a change, to make a difference. So let's vote. That is very key, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Vote. So we love Kapiti. Vote for the ones that you believe are going to make the change.
Yeah. When you get your ballot papers, one of the key things is to only vote for who you want to vote for, not ranking them all down the line, because those ranked down the line, people that you don't particularly want, if candidates don't get in, they then move all those votes into another candidate and they're distributed out. So you really only tick who you actually want in. One of the things, if you're looking for our team, is on the voting form it should have I am standing with the We Love Kapiti team, and so then you know they're one of our team. We have one person in Otaki, another person in the Mayoral ward. We have a person in Waikanae, and myself in Waikanae as well. We've got district-wide with Joanne. We've got Chris running for Paraparam. And we don't have anyone in the Raumati, but Bede Lassie, he's there. He's a good man, and he also works hard for the community. So keep an eye out for that little phrase, We Love Kapiti, and that's the team to back, because we are right behind you guys, and we know that there needs to be a change. We know there needs to be fiscal responsibility. We see where things are heading, and you're going to have people out there that are talking divisive nature, and they're not really, in my view, they're not community focused. We're not dissing any other candidate. We don't do that. That's not in our nature. But there are others that are doing that. You've got to work with communities. You've got to work with all communities, and that's what local government is all about. It's very eclectic. It's very dynamic. It's very diverse. And you cannot be judgmental. You have to work with everyone, and that's what we stand for as well. So keep an eye out for the We Love Kapiti team on the voting form. Tick only those people that you want, and discard anyone that you don't want. That's the important thing.
I love that. Very clear directive right there. So just tick, and if they have We Love Kapiti beside them, well, you are good to go. So thank you so much, Dean. It has been a pleasure. And we'll do this again, because let's just get the word out there and let's vote for change.
Thanks everyone.